Yeah, they tell you that you should quit trying. You were too small, that you were too young. They tell you the chance is too slim, the world is too big, but you say, how come? I'm ready to light a new fire, raise a new flag, across a new sea. And if I'm ever the one in your way, then put your head down and run right through me. I keep settling for so much less. Don't take what's given, just demand what's next. Colossal. Open up your eyes, young one, and be watchful. Behind closed doors, try to write a new gospel. They are not God, they're not even apostles. I come with the dumb drum banging you breathless. Enemies freeze, left bent and defenseless. Straight for the chest of anybody against us. The more they resist it, the more that they tempt us. I keep settling for so much less. Don't take what's given, just demand what's next.
Oh goodness. Oh my god, man. I'm sitting here, I look dumb, man. I mean, hell, this is my team, and I was all out on this team. I said, oh, no shot we're winning this game. I went around at college day and telling people in class today, I'm just like, oh no, the Bulls aren't winning this. There's no shot they're winning this. Because this Raptors team, when it comes down to it all, this Raptors team just seems like the direct counter to this Bulls team, and I can't believe I doubted them, but the numbers say I should. But I guess when a team decides to shoot 18 of 35 from the free throw line, first off, I don't know how the absolute hell they got all those free throws in the first place, but Zach LaVine, ladies and gentlemen, I have been consistent with this man since the start of this season when he was playing god-awful. I have said consistently all year that you need to start respecting this man because you don't understand as Bulls fans what exactly that you have. Is this man perfect? No. He is not the best player in the NBA. If he was the best player in the NBA, he'd be on a super max deal. But this man's on a max contract. And yes, that comes with expectations, but what you can't expect Zach to be is perfect. That's not what he is at all. Zach wasn't perfect tonight. He had a very tough overall first half. I thought he was still doing all right. The Raptors came out and had the best game plan ever in that first half, and we saw it just through and through. It was just a dominant first half from the Raptors, specifically defensively. But this man right here decided, look, man, we're not going down. We're not going down by double digits. We're not losing this game by 20 points, which we absolutely could have, or we could have lost this game by 40. Like it was honestly getting to that point, and he changed the free throw discrepancy. This man right here just completely changed everything, because I cannot understate to you how important it is for this Bulls team to always get to the free throw line and to get points in the paint, because my god, can this team just never shoot threes for the life of them. They shot 7 of 26 from three-point range tonight. They made 7. The Raptors, they made 11. Thank god they didn't make more. But in that first half, the big discrepancy was the three-point shot and the free throw discrepancy. The Raptors had 5 more free throws made, not even just talk about attempts, and the Raptors had plus 18 points from the three-point line in the first half. That was the big difference in the game. Now, suddenly, in that second half, the Bulls were dominating the points in the paint the entire game. Okay, let me make that clear. The Bulls were just dominating the points in the paint the entire game. All right, they had the upper advantage. It was 28-14 at halftime, and LaVine, that not only did he come through and just start making shots at the rim, he changed the free throw discrepancy because he suddenly is getting to the foul line at a very extremely high rate, and it's all of a sudden the free throws in the end, the free throws made were tied. That's to me the biggest difference in this game. Zach LaVine started to make these free throws and started to get to the foul line. So suddenly, because the Raptors can't hit a damn free throw, the Bulls are they're back in this. And because the Bulls won the paint battle, you can lose the 3-point battle, which they did, right? And in the end, that's what mattered. I cannot believe this happened. I am just dumbfounded that this even happened. But oh my God, LaVine, you saved this team from absolute disaster tonight. And this man deserves all the credit in the world. And I hope Joe Coley is just having headaches tonight. I hope Joe Coley cannot sleep tonight because this man just won't ever stop hating on LaVine. But he turned up tonight and was honestly the only reason why this Bulls team had a chance in this game. A chance! And they followed through. This is an insane performance. People have said that they wanted a Zach LaVine signature moment in the big time moments, right? Last year it didn't happen against the Milwaukee Bucks, and for obvious reasons. He was obviously injured, but it's very difficult to have a signature moment against a Milwaukee Bucks type level team, right? It is extremely difficult. I don't care who you are. People have said consistently that LaVine just never shows up for big games. And look, man, I think the numbers just say for itself that's just not the case. Sure, he may not be shooting amazing, but he shows up. That just went away tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This man just gave a 39-point performance on 54% shooting and basically willed this team into a victory because they had no shot, in my opinion, after the start of that second half where it was just a god-awful start. A turnover by Caruso, a missed three by Vooch, a LaVine turnover. It was looking awful. The Raptors went up by 20 points. 19 points. I'm like, oh, this game's over. It's suddenly over. And this man right here chipped away. It was just, all right, I'm going to continue to drive it. I'll see how many I can make here, but chip away, get to the free throw line, and suddenly that free throw discrepancy, as I said, it changed, right? Where suddenly the Bulls, they're tied at the end of the game here in free throws made. Obviously, at the point at the time, it wasn't like, you know, when things were happening, that wasn't the case, but it was slowly chipping away. And this man pulled through. He did everything in his willpower to pull through in this one. And please, for the love of God, make sure this man gets his credit tonight. Because I saw some stuff already on Twitter. Even in the middle of the second half, people were already saying, oh, LaVine's a bum. He can't get it done. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're watching. This is not just an all-star performance. This was a superstar performance tonight. And I don't think Zach LaVine's a superstar. But this is a superstar level performance tonight. And I hope that everybody gives him his credit tonight. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this the next game because he probably, 40 minutes tonight and putting up this is not easy then to go and replicate. But he's the reason why the Bulls are still have a season right now. Give him his credit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, I cannot believe this happened. I am genuinely just shocked that this even happened tonight. I'm happy, man. I'm happy that the Bulls were able to pull through in this one. I thought that the Bulls were going to absolutely just lose this one. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring affair, which it was. It ended up still being a pretty low-scoring affair. But I thought that this was going to be the Raptors were just going to barely win thanks to the second chance point battle, where we see that the second chance points just end up being the difference in the game. And that didn't happen tonight, right? It was, yeah, the Raptors, they still in second chance. Like this was the case, right? But the Bulls, they won in some other categories tonight. They won the fast break points, right? You won the points in the paint, which is obviously, really good. So there were other ways where this Bulls team started to really chip away. And then more importantly, as we kind of saw as the game went on, right? Points off turnovers. Bulls started to get this, and big shout out to Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso, because those two guys completely shifted the game in that third quarter. I think Billy Donovan deserves a lot of credit, and it's not necessarily for his offense, because the offense tonight was basically Zach LaVine, I need you to do everything, and he came through, which is not exactly it's not really a good idea to do such a thing, but he came through tonight. But defensively, what Billy Donovan decided to do in that third quarter, he took out DeRozan, he took out Vooch, and he said, all right, we're going small. Derrick Jones Jr. playing the 5. We're going to put in Alex Caruso and Patrick Williams. And those two guys started to pick up full court pressure, and that changed the game. The Raptors suddenly just could not get into their offensive sets. We started to see the Raptors start to turn the ball over, and that's when suddenly the points off turnover battle started to sway into the Bulls' favor, which it wasn't initially, right? This is how it's supposed to be done, right? Defensively, the Bulls, in my opinion, they were doing fine overall in the first half, but that second half was when Billy Donovan finally started to really think about it a little bit more, and he completely just, with that lineup, shifted the game. I'm happy to see that Billy had the guts, right? He had the guts to be like, okay, I need to sit DeMar here, because DeMar was having a rough time. Vooch was not doing crap tonight. So let's try to put Zach out there with a bunch of guys that are athletic, they run fast, and we're going to turn up the defensive level. And my God, did it work. So Billy, you deserve credit for that. Offensively, though, this Bulls team is still having some severe issues offensively. But this man right here tonight was the offense, and that's honestly it. That's all it was at the end of the day. Did watch the game? Love you, yeah. Zach LaVine, he deserves all the love tonight. I cannot stress how much he carried that offense in that second half. There was nothing else going on in that second half. He scored 17 to 25 Bulls points in the third quarter. And that's when the Bulls, I don't even know if they even won that quarter, did they? Like, it was just, yeah, they barely won this quarter, and it was just barely. Like, they just barely snuck it in. And then they were able to finally figure it out in that fourth quarter, and they finally came back. Like, you want to talk about just barely having a pulse and LaVine keeping you alive? That was that third quarter. LaVine just barely kept this team alive, and thank God he did. Oh my God. Insane stuff tonight. Cannot believe this game. Okay, what the hell was that 3-point foul and Siakam shot at the end? That to me was the definition of the NBA trying to change some things, right? I think that was honestly a call that was, okay, Raptors, they're at home. Let's try to send this to overtime. I am seriously sus with the NBA on that call. That call was atrocious, and I hope all three officials are fine and don't get to work a playoff game, because, oh my God, that was a terrible decision by the officials. That was some of the worst stuff. I don't know what the hell they were deciding the looking at right there. They just were deciding, hey, we're gonna change this. Yeah, I don't know, man. That to me was disgusting to see. And thank God Siakam missed it. And you know, ball don't lie at the end of the day. Do you think DeMar's daughter helped the Bulls? If so, how much? So look, DR is DeMar DeRozan's daughter's name. I definitely think she had an impact. I don't know exactly what, impact that she had. There's no number on this, right? But this Raptors team shooting 18 of 36 from the free throw line, I'm going to guess that DeMar DeRozan had some impact on this. I think specifically, though, when I look at, like, these guys, for example, like, Fred VanVleet, right? Like, he doesn't normally shoot 3 of 6 from the free throw line. I don't know what was up with him. Siakam, like, I think Siakam shoots like 77%. Like, this was just shocking to me when I saw that, oh, he suddenly just is missing shots. Let's see. This is preseason. Let's see here. So Siakam shoots 77%. I don't know what was happening with him. So give credit to DeMar DeRozan for just screaming at the top of her lungs and clearly doing something to the Raptors. Like, I don't know exactly what was going on, but she did something to get into their head, and it was clearly effective. So I'm not going to say it was for every single missed free throw, but it was getting to them. So she deserves at least some credit, and the Bulls need to put her on the payroll, because I don't think the Bulls win this game without her screaming, honestly. So yeah, she deserves it. Diamond Surfer, but I hope he gets his 3-point shooting. He definitely needs to get his 3-point shooting back, but the issue is this, right? He is the only guy on this team that can get to the basket consistently and get to the free throw line consistently, right? That's the issue with this ball club. It's like, I want to take advantage of Zach's 3-point shooting, but The issue is that he's the only guy that is reliably getting into the paint against this Raptors team. Like, DeRozan, he had some moments where he got into the paint, but I think that was more so the Raptors just suddenly breaking down defensively, right, than it was DeRozan getting into the lane. LaVine, what he was doing was straight up just, I'm forcing my way into the paint, and you have nothing, you can't do anything about it. Like, yeah, I want to take advantage of LaVine's three-point shooting, but he has to get to the basket. It's the only way that this Bulls team is going to be able to actually get dribble penetration to the rim. He did it tonight, and so he deserves a ton of credit for what he did tonight, and he hit some 2 big threes in that second half. But I seriously question moving forward, like, and this is going to come into play against Miami here. Like, I don't know. I truly don't know what it's gonna take here against Miami, and if there's gonna be someone else here that's gonna be able to start getting into the lane, because we need someone else against Miami to get into the paint so that Zach doesn't have to do it all the time. We know what's coming against Miami, right? We know Jimmy's gonna be on Zach, and they're gonna be making sure that it's gonna be switch everything to defense, and it's gonna be a trap on LaVine as he drives. So hopefully someone else can step up to the plate and take some of that pressure off Zach, so he doesn't have to always be driving, and he can get some opportunities to kind of, you know, spread the floor a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I honestly think the game plan is first, no matter what, Zach get downhill, get to the basket, get to the paint, score, then worry about the three-point shot later. Because I honestly, with how this team kind of just does things, it seems like it's the only way, right? And I hope it works. Early thoughts on the Heat game? I don't know what to really say here, because I thought for sure the Bulls were going to lose this game tonight, right? I was like, coming into today, I'm like, okay, you know what? The season's ending tonight. And, you know, I was going to have, you know, a nice post-game stream that's going to be kind of talking about the season, wrapping things up, and, you know, kind of explaining some plans for the future here. But certainly the Bulls are, they're on their way to Miami to take on the Heat, and we'll see if the Bulls can win that one. So I don't know really what to say here. I don't want to jinx anything, but all I'm going to say is this. I'm not going to say that the Bulls win that one, but with the way that the Miami Heat have looked and their lack of interior presence, and the Bulls, you know, they need to get into the paint, I like the Bulls a lot better against Miami than I do against the Raptors, and the Bulls just beat the Raptors. So that's all I'm just gonna say for now. I'm not gonna, you know, say a winner or loss here. All I'm just gonna say is that I think that the Miami matchup's a little bit better for the Bulls, and we'll see, because I think that they can take advantage of some things that they can't against the Toronto Raptors. We know the Miami Heat they're not gonna out rebound you on offensive glass, right? They're not gonna get those second chance opportunities. They play small, right? So that's all I'm just gonna say for now, and it's going to come down to, yet again, here we go. It's going to be another low-scoring affair. It's going to probably be close. And the way that the Bulls are going to have to win that Miami game is going to be, as I said today, it's that you have to somehow win in, you know, different margins, right? For example, the Bulls, you know, points off turnovers, they won that battle tonight. Fast break points, they won this battle tonight. And obviously then points in the paint in the end, the Bulls won that battle. So if you're the Bulls against Miami, it's the same recipe, right? Now, what the big thing is that you don't have to probably worry about this right here, because Miami doesn't typically offensive rebound, okay? So still, you got to win the paint battle, because that's honestly your only way that you're going to be winning these games. You got to win the fast break battle, because you're more athletic than Miami. You're younger than Miami. You should be faster than Miami. You have to win this fast break battle, okay? Miami can turn the ball over a lot. So you got to get points off turnovers and win that battle. And if the Bulls are going to have a much better day getting into the paint and not, you know, be limited to 52 points, and maybe they can get up to close to 60, it's looking a lot better, because I know Miami is going to, you know, if you're not aware, Miami and the Bulls, they've struggled both offensively all season long. The Bulls and Miami, they've been pretty decent defensively. The Bulls have had a better defensive rating throughout the year compared to Miami. Now, we know that Miami has a bunch of three-point shooters. The issue is that those three-point shooters aren't hitting their threes. So it's really going to come down to, like, which team is going to start. It's either the team's going to start lighting up from three-point range, or it's going to be those little small battles that I just mentioned. You know, points in the paint, points off turnovers, fast break points. You have to win those battles against a Miami team, which, again, you as a team don't score. The Bulls don't score. They have trouble scoring the basketball. Both these teams are very good defensively. So you got to win the small margins to get the victory, because the small margins got you this 4-point victory tonight on the road. We're on the road again, so got to win the small margins again. So we'll see if they can do it. Zach dominating inside with the Raptors link was insane. Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, I did not think Zach LaVine was going to dominate the paint tonight, because I know this Raptors team defensively is all over the court. Like, this Raptors team, like, you can look at Siakam, just OG Anunoby, you know, Scotty Barnes, and hell, Jakob Poeltl, that pickup, in my opinion, was a great pickup, and, you know, it didn't work out. But he's a damn good shot blocker and good rim protector. So, like, how is Zach going to finish, right? He just muscled his way through and drew a lot of fouls. Give him credit, because, you know, it's going to take, you know, him getting to the free throw line, not just, you know, forcing his way to the basket and missing layups. It's going to he has to be getting to the free throw line to be able to open up those opportunities, and he took advantage. And we're going to really break down some film tonight, honestly. That's going to, in my opinion, going to really show, like, what the Bulls kind of made an adjustment with. And I'm very happy that they did such a thing, because it was a big adjustment that I think we need to talk about. And I'm going to give Billy credit for it, but at the same time, I'm going to criticize Billy, because I think this should have happened earlier in the year. That is thing. Yeah. Why didn't they review that, especially at such an important game-changing call? So at the end of a game, so we're talking about the Pascal Siakam 3-point attempt on the foul by Caruso. That was not a 3-point attempt. I don't know what the hell the officials saw there. You're not allowed to review that. If the officials deem that he was in the shooting motion, that's not reviewable. You can't review that. The only way to review that is if Billy Donovan decides, I'm going to challenge that, and I don't want Billy to challenge there, because you're going to lose that. You're just going to lose that challenge. You also have one timeout left, and you need that one timeout in case Pascal Siakam hits all three, right? And then you have to call the timeout, advance the ball, and then you know, draw up a play, hopefully then to win the game. So I like that Billy did not use his challenge there. And like I said, it's not a challengeable it's not a reviewable call. That's just something that with the NBA that they've changed, that's not reviewable. So if the officials deemed on the floor it's 3 shots, it's going to be 3 shots unless you challenge it. And like I said, Billy couldn't challenge there. It's not worth it. I think that was a makeup call, because them 2 fouls OG got was iffy. One DeMar, the other Zach. I agree. I think that the OG Anunoby foul, specifically on DeRozan, was a little iffy. And I do think that the NBA, like, this is where I'm very critical of officials, and I'm very skeptical of the NBA as well. So we'll see. But yeah, that to me was either a makeup call or the NBA trying to rig it. Like, that was garbage. That was straight up garbage. And I truly hope that we get the officials to have to go through the press conference tonight, because that's something that they actually do. And if I want to hear them talk. And I'm looking right at Adam Silver, and that was a terrible decision and terrible call. So I'm gonna take it for DR to Miami. I think she'll be on her way anyway. I think the family is traveling with the Bulls team already, so I think she's on her way to Miami already. So I expect her to do the exact same thing. Hopefully her voice isn't gone, but as I said, same thing, right? She's gonna have to go out and do the exact same thing. So we'll see if she's able to screw up the Miami Heat at the free throw line in Miami. That'll be very interesting to see if she has that much power over the Miami Heat, or just, I guess, NBA players free throw shooting. So we'll see. So yeah, as I said though, I expect her to be on her way to Miami already. Yeah, that's that. Video calls are so dumb, and it's the reason really good players like LeBron and Luka complain so much, because it's effective. Even if they don't get the call, they get the next one. Yeah, and also NBA picks favorites, right? I honestly think the NBA has a big issue with the Bulls, and I don't know why. Maybe it's Jerry Reinsdorf, I don't know. But the NBA has not been nice to this Bulls team recently. And you know, you're gonna be like, well, what specifically? I'm not really talking about picks. I look at the amount of, you know, last 2-minute reports that have gone against the Bulls, which, if you're not aware, most of the last 2-minute reports for the Bulls this season has gone against them. So there's that. That's the reason why I'm just like, I don't know. Like, is the NBA like prioritizing Pascal Siakam over LaVine and DeRozan in the playoffs, right? Maybe that gets some more views. It's bad. Now, makeup calls, like, I just think makeup calls, unfortunately, are just a part of a game, especially at home. But that sort of call right there, where it was so blatantly obvious, right? And it's right in front of you, and we watched it in slow motion as it happened, and it's like, that's on the floor. Like, I think everybody in the building knew that's a call on the floor, and that was a missed call by the officials. They decided to overturn it. So to me, that's when I get really skeptical of the officials. It's like, when it's an obvious call, it's a blatantly obvious call, and they suddenly decide we're gonna just switch it, or they call it completely wrong and are not gonna change it, right? Everybody in the building knew, oh, this is the correct call, and then suddenly it gets switched. That screams, rigging or something. I mean, it's a whole audience of Canada versus Chicago and a few international fans. Yeah. They just want to go to OT for drama. Refs do that a lot. I mean, I'm not denying that claim, right? I'm not denying that claim, because I think maybe the Raptors maybe the NBA looks at Siakam as just a better player than LaVine and DeRozan, which, I think that's fair if you think that. And maybe they think that, hey, Raptors are going to bring in more views against Miami Heat, which, as Noel just said, right, it's the entire, country of Canada and the Chicago Bulls fan base, right? Which the Bulls, they have a big international fan base, but it's just, there's a big country versus a city. So what's that mean going to choose, right? And obviously you see that it's numbers game. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm just very skeptical of what that call was. So yeah, that's that. All right. Let's look on Twitter for just a second here. I want to see if yeah, so here's DeRozan. Says Dar begged him to come, but will not be there. Oh, I guess she's not there Friday. So there you go, Bulls fans. She's not going to be there Friday. So I don't know if that means an L immediately or what. Yeah, that's that. I want to see Zach talk, or see if Zach ever talks here. But yeah, I hope we get that. We get his quotes tonight, and then I want to hear Billy talk as well. Because yeah, he has some explaining to do on some things. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, there's some stuff that we gotta talk about. Now, one thing that I think that I can't just ignore. Okay, this Toronto Raptors team, since the All-Star break, and honestly for a decent portion of the year, okay, this Raptors team offensively has not been great. All right. Again, their defense has traditionally been, or mostly been, solid, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just go off of offensive rating here. The offensive rating for the Toronto Raptors this season is ranked 13th, so it's about middle of the pack. Defensively, they're 11th, so they're close to top 10. But if you look at the All-Star or post-All-Star offensive rating for the Toronto Raptors, they've slipped, right? They're down here, right? The Bulls are also here, so it's like post All-Star break, they've they're kind of the same. But my point is this: is that the Raptors, since the All-Star break, like they've had some struggles offensively, right? So to see suddenly in that second half, right, where the Raptors, they only put up 23 and 24 points after scoring 28 and 30, like, it's not a shocker to me. And I think, this is a big reason why the Bulls had a chance coming back in this one, because the Raptors, they suck offensively too. Like, they've had their struggles offensively. The first half, they looked pretty decent, right? And we saw, in the first half, they were hitting some shots. Now, I thought they were hitting a lot of mid-range shots, though. The thing is that the paint battle for the Bulls was 28-14 in their favor. So the Raptors really weren't getting that, like, they weren't getting very efficient shots, but they hit 5 of 8 from 3-point range to start the game. 5 of 8 to start the game. They went 11 for 31. So it just kind of shows you just kind of how much of a difference, right, we saw from the Raptors in the first half compared to the second half offensively. Bulls defense obviously deserves a lot of credit for what they did, but also, I just think the Raptors, they suck offensively sometimes. And Fred VanVleet, like, he obviously, I think, had a pretty good game, but there are moments with him that I'm just like, you're the point guard here. You need to help get these guys set up. And with a pretty hard game, like a bad game from OG, Scotty Barnes, like, you know, he made some decent shots, right? But he really didn't dominate in this game. So it was basically Siakam carrying the load with Fred VanVleet shooting 36% from the field. But, you know, he was hitting some shots, right? Where else was the offense going to come from? So if the Bulls were able to suddenly limit one of these guys, which they started to do, right? We saw VanVleet not have that great of a second half. Same thing with Pascal Siakam. I believe Siakam had like 22 points early in the third, but then he only finished with 32, right? Then it allows you a chance where you have Zach, right? And if Zach starts to get it going, which he did, he can suddenly start to outscore this Raptors team pretty much by himself and with a little bit of support. And he did that, right? Third quarter, right, as I said, he scored 17 of the 25 in that third, and the Raptors, they scored 23. So the Bulls defensively, they started to really lock up this Raptors team, but also the Raptors just started to not play. I don't know what it was, but the Raptors just started to not play basketball in that second half. They were getting stagnant. They were throwing up shots that weren't good shots, and Bulls took advantage. So give the Bulls credit and give Zach credit for really starting to take advantage of this Raptors team when they started to struggle, because that was the only chance, right? This Bulls team doesn't hit threes, and this is the reason why I've always said that this Bulls team always has trouble, getting back into games, is because they don't hit the three ball, and you need a three ball typically to get back into games. But if your defense is going to hold these guys to very limited scoring, and you're starting to dominate the paint, and you're starting to dominate the free throw line, that's also a way to get back into the game. I just didn't think that with the way that things were going, that the Bulls are going to start getting the free throw calls, because they weren't getting in the first half, and the Raptors were. And the Raptors ended up with 36 free throws. So at the end, you know, the Bulls should have probably lost this game because of how many free throws the Raptors missed. But they took advantage, right? And just LaVine getting to the free throw line 15 times, I'm telling you, that was the big difference in this game. Because if he doesn't get to the free throw line but is still scoring, it's not enough, right? That's not enough to chip away at the lead. And we're still probably looking at like a 15-point deficit heading into the fourth quarter, when instead it was, I believe it was a 9-point deficit heading into the fourth. So as I said, it's a big difference when the free throws are starting to be taken and going down for this Bulls team. And thank you, DeMar DeRozan, for making the Raptors miss 18 free throws tonight. So yeah. Late to the stream, but let's go into MC season. Hey man, I saw you tweet at me in the middle of it. I gave my response. It was not looking good, right? When I gave that response, I was pretty upset with some things. But yeah, they did it, man, and LaVine did it. Signature moment for Zach. Jimmy Butler's gonna keep it kicking up a notch. I agree. Now the only thing that I'm gonna say is this: I don't know what happened, but Jimmy Butler, he went 6-19 in that Atlanta Hawks game, and I was watching that game, and Jimmy Butler was missing layups, man. Like, the dude was just missing. And I'm like, man, like I've never seen Jimmy Butler in his entire career in the NBA miss so many shots in the paint. I've never seen it. And it came against that Miami Heat team, or against the Atlanta Hawks team for some reason. So give Clint Capella credit, I guess, but at the same time, I just thought Jimmy just missed some shots. So I do agree that Jimmy's going to turn it up a notch, and so he's obviously scary, right? He's a scary guy that we have to make sure that we, get a handle on him. I expect Caruso to get a lot of time on him, and we'll see if he does as well. But to me, the biggest thing, again, it's like Miami is going to be out there really starting to, launch the three-point shot, and we have to make sure that they don't start hitting those, and making sure that the dribble penetration is not going to be good for Miami. So defensively, obviously, you got to stop Butler, but there's a lot of other stuff kind of at play. I've noticed that in these playoff type games that Bam Adebayo can be a guy where if you force him to kind of do a lot of things, he might not exactly come through, right? He had 12 points in that game against Atlanta, but he only had 8 points basically until late in the fourth quarter. Like, it was bad from Bam. So I think if there's a guy out there, like, I know Bam is like part of like their big three with Butler, Hero, and Bam, but if there's a guy that I'm going to be kind of forcing to take some shots specifically from the perimeter, it's going to be Bam, right? So kind of make Bam, make some half-court perimeter-oriented shots. Keep him out of the paint, obviously. But if you're able to do that, man, that's good defense. as long as we do all right against him, I think there's a chance Bam's going to attack the rim a lot as well, so hopefully we contain him. My biggest fear about Bam is in the open court, right? I think in the half court, I think we can actually do a decent job against Bam, but it's in the open court because Bam Adebayo can handle that ball, and so he makes then the center come up to the top of the key to guard him, and we know Vooch can't guard on the perimeter, right? So that to me is more where I'm concerned about with Bam, is in the open court when, you know, he gets that rebound, just decides to push it by himself. I'm more scared of Bam in the open court than I am in the half court. So make sure he doesn't do that in the open court. If you're able to limit his ability to take advantage of transition opportunities, then we're looking, I think, all right. Again, though, I have not said W or L, and I'm just going to keep it that way because I don't want to jinx anything, because I legitimately think that this, I said that the Bulls are going to lose tonight, and they won. So, you know, it should be like, I should say the Bulls are going to lose, but at the same time, I don't want to do anything. So, honestly, if there's a jinx guy out there, it's Charles Barkley. So, we'll go off of that. If you guys don't know, Charles Barkley said that the Toronto Raptors were going to win this game convincingly. He straight up just said it. And my friend David messaged me saying, oh, Charles Barkley just said this, the Bulls are going to win tomorrow. And I'm like, well, you know, at least the Bulls got that going for them, because I have the Bulls losing. And I think a lot of people have the Bulls losing. And then Charles Barkley said it, and I'm like, you know, that gives the Bulls a little bit of a better chance. And the Chuck guarantee, you know, curse came back to haunt him tonight, and I'm very happy that it did. So let's see what Charles Barkley has to say, because obviously the next game is going to be on TNT for this Bulls team, and we'll see what happens. Because yeah, I think it's a possibility here. If Chuck says, oh, Miami's going to win, then the Bulls win it, because it's the Charles Barkley guarantee. And we know Charles Barkley has some serious bad luck when it comes to his guarantees. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that. I'm happy the Bulls just have another life. And honestly, look, man, if the Bulls end up not winning against Miami here, I'm not here sitting, you know, hella depressed after this season, right? I think this game by Zach, and also give credit to Patrick Williams, because I think he did a phenomenal job defensively. I think this gave me a little bit of hope down the road, right? Because Zach's here. I think we all kind of know that. Like, Zach's not going anywhere. Patrick Williams is, you know, there's some moments that he still has to work on, but he had some really good defensive moments and some good overall impact on this game, right? 2 blocks, 2 steals, right? He had some serious impact. So with these 2 guys that I know are going to kind of be like part of the foundation moving forward, not the foundation, but part of, it gives me some hope. And so you beat this Raptors team in a playoff type game when on the road where you probably shouldn't have won. You defied all odds and you're able to win it. So that to me shows some growth. Now, it would really cap it off if you're able to go into Miami and win it in Miami. That would be a big, nice little, hey, this season has been a roller coaster, but at the very least we made it to the 8th seed, made it to the playoffs, and you know, changes are coming here. But we saw some growth with this team moving forward. You're 100% going to lose to the Milwaukee Bucks, but you're going to get some more playoff experience by just making the 8th seed and facing the Milwaukee Bucks again. And I think that's valuable. I always think that's valuable when it comes to this Bulls team at the end of the day. So even if we don't get to that point, though, I still like the fact that we got 2 playing games. I think that's overall pretty important. And we'll see. We'll see if this Bulls team can get that Miami game, because that would be a little nice. Just kind of. I don't think there's ever, you know. I don't know how to say this, but like, it's. I'll say it. Like, it's a little win, right? This season has sucked, and I know a lot of people are on the tank train, but it's a little bit of a win at the end if you're able to get these guys more playoff experience and understanding how to play in those types of games and how much the intensity is, right? Because they need that experience no matter what moving forward. So yeah. Say with your chest. Yeah, I'll say it's a little bit of a win. Like, honestly, just winning this game is a little bit of a win in my opinion. But you know, it'd be a little bit bigger if we can win against Miami and get to the playoffs here. So there's a chance. There's a chance here. And again, the Bulls are not winning against the Bucks. Okay, I'm full out just going to tell you right now. If the Bulls make it to the 8th seed, they're not winning against the Bucks. That just straight up is not going to happen. But you know, I want to see them play better against the Bucks, and that can definitely happen. And you know, Chris Middleton isn't exactly there. I actually don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because I think Middleton actually is the weak link right now. So I actually want to see Middleton play. But you know, we'll see, maybe you'll see the Bulls play better. And I always think experience is good. Like, if we could get Patrick Williams to guard Giannis for, you know, 4 or 5 games, right? That's good. That's good experience that Patrick Williams can take away, right? Zach LaVine is going to get absolutely hounded against Miami, and he's going to get hounded against the Bucks if they make it, right? He has to adjust, right, and see how they're going to be able to adjust, you know, and adjust to that sort of playoff type atmosphere. And you're facing a Milwaukee Bucks team that is on their way to a championship, in my opinion. So again, you're not going to win, but this is. It's good experience, right? He needs to get that experience, because last year, again, right, he wasn't healthy, and I want to see him play against the Bucks when he is healthy. So look, man, there's always stuff that you can take away. I always kind of say this, you know, in like even in just bad situations, like in life in general, like I always just something I try to take away something from it, even though in my mind it's always kind of rough to do such a thing. With this Bulls team, I'm aware that this season has sucked, man. I mean, hell, this has been one ridiculous roller coaster, and honestly, the season probably should have ended today. But there's you gotta take something away from each little experience here, and winning this game is something you can take away, and then if you win against Miami, that's another big takeaway, and then just getting to face the Milwaukee Bucks is another kind of, you know, little add-on in the takeaways that you could be like, yeah, this is something that we can take into next season. And work with it. So just overall, well, I'm looking to that. Again, though, if we don't win against Miami, it's so what. It is what it is. All right, I am here now. I'm at the point here, so I don't know if you guys can see. I am sweating bullets. I'm not ending stream. I'm about to start breaking down some film here. Just bear with me though, guys, throughout this entire stream. It is 78 degrees in my apartment right now. I'm sure you guys are or if you're in Chicago, you're enjoying the nice weather. I'm also enjoying the sunshine, but in my apartment it is dead and disgusting in here. Yeah, I'm on a high rise, and of course there's no air conditioning in this high rise until they decide, hey, we're gonna turn on the air conditioning. So I am dying personally in here, but so I'm gonna be taking some breaks throughout the stream, which is one of them's gonna be right now. I'm gonna get some water, but after I come back here, so talk amongst yourselves, I'm gonna break down a few things that I think are very important to look at, because this is something that I think that this Bulls team needs to take moving forward. And it's not just, you know, for against Miami or against Milwaukee. It's for moving forward just in general, okay? And I hope that we can learn from tonight and take advantage moving forward, because, again, learning experiences. It's all important. You live in a city? I don't live in a city. I'm in college in the city. So I don't officially live here, but as I'm in college, I am in the city. So, yeah, this is happening right now. Yeah, I am in a high rise in the middle of the city. So probably understand where I'm coming from right now. Yeah, it's rough. All right, I need to get some water. I'll be right back. I just shifted the music here. And let's see here. I want to actually I'm not gonna actually pull up anything because I don't want to get copyrighted. So look at this as I get back here. All right. I do apologize if you hear the fan. I just turned it towards me, so I typically have it away, obviously, for the mic. But if you do hear, I do apologize, but I have to accommodate here. Yeah, I don't want to pass out from heat exhaustion. All right, let me pull up the YouTube TV here because I want to show a few things that I think are incredibly important to look at moving forward with this team. Okay, one of the things that I have been harping on when it comes to this Bulls team is how much they decide, hey, we're going to run the pick and roll with Nikola Vucevic with DeRozan or LaVine, even though that we know that, hey, a double team is coming when we decide to do that, right? So whoever has the ball, they're going to get double teamed. And this is the reason why I'm just like, I never understand why the Bulls do that, but I'm going to show you why this Bulls team is supposed to not do that, right? This Toronto Raptors team has been, they've been double teaming DeRozan specifically, but then they've also been double teaming Zach in a lot of their games, right? So when that's the case, right, what you don't want to do is bring two guys to the basketball, okay? Obviously, there's always a main defender, but if you decide to set the screen with Nikola Vucevic, or honestly anybody, right, this Bulls team is basically feeding into the Raptors defense. That's the entire Raptors defensive scheme, which is, hey, we're gonna basically ask, or we're basically trying to double team you guys, and then if you decide to run the pick and roll, then yeah, all right, cool, we'll just straight up double team you then because you're bringing another guy to the basketball. So let's talk about how the Bulls can get away from that. And if, let's say, DeRozan or LaVine are getting double teamed, right, if off the pick and roll or just in general, how do you avoid that? How do you avoid that sort of situation so that the Raptors or any team can't just double team right off the bat when these guys decide, hey, we're gonna or when DeRozan or LaVine decides to drive? So let me look at the play-by-play here. But for example, okay, this is something that I've been calling for this for a while now because it's something that I think it's much more effective in today's NBA game, especially with how guys are so explosive to the basket, especially if you have a Zach LaVine, right? But also in general the shooting, but the Bulls don't have shooting, okay? But even though the Bulls don't have shooting, you still take advantage of this sort of thing because it's in general the right decision to help get guys more one-on-one matchups. When it comes to LaVine and DeRozan, okay, these guys one-on-one, they're gonna typically score. It's not every single time, but you're gonna typically see that they can take advantage of a one-on-one matchup pretty well. So how do you avoid the double team with these guys? So I'm gonna show you a play here where LaVine is able to just isolate, okay, and it puts the Raptors in a pretty precarious position here that is gonna make him have to make a rough decision, okay? So let's just watch this. Let's watch this specifically, this one play that the Bulls decide, hey, we're gonna isolate. All right. So pay attention to where Nikola Vucevic is gonna set up on this play. Okay. You even see Zach here, right? Like at the beginning of this play right here, you see that Vucevic comes up and he's like, all right, I'm gonna set a screen for you. And Zach's like, no, get out of here. Because as I've said, right, if LaVine decides to come off the screen, right, Hurdle's going to come up and double team him alongside Scotty Barnes, right? And so it's like, okay, well, then we'll throw it out to Vucevic and then he'll throw it to the corner for Caruso because Siakam's going to come in and cover. But it's like, that might be the best basketball play, but we know that the Toronto Raptors are very willing to give up the three ball, right? Especially to a guy like Alex Caruso who doesn't typically take a lot of threes. They're just like, hey, yeah, we're just going to give it up. So good luck to you. And we also know that these guys on this team, right, you typically see these guys hesitate, and that's where things go bad. But instead of doing that where you're ending in a shot with this guy or this guy taking the shot, right, you want this guy or this guy taking the shot, okay? It's one of these two guys, especially in crunch time, they have to be taking the shots down the stretch. It is, at the end of the day, you're more likely to make the shot if you have your stars taking the shot. So Vooch clears out, okay? Now you even see right now, even as Vooch cleared out, look at Pirtle, okay? Pirtle is like, oh, hey, look, I'm coming up the double team, okay? And this is the reason why I'm just like, no, get out of here, Vooch, okay? What Doris Burke has said this throughout the game. I've been calling for this for a good portion of the season, okay? What the Bulls decided to do tonight is we're going to put LaVine and DeRozan basically in the slots, right? this is typically like the slot, or I like to call the shooter's pocket, because you kind of see typically shooters being around in this area to, you know, take spot up threes. Okay, but what we're going to be doing here is we're spreading the floor. We're not running the pick and roll, right? And Vucevic is going to be here as not an outlet option, right, or a release valve. He's here to score. Okay, having Nikola Vucevic right under the basket baseline is a position where he can go up and score. Okay, I want Vucevic in a position to score rather than in a position to pass. And I'm aware that Vucevic is a good passer, right? But with this team, he needs to be then the option to score if DeRozan or LaVine get double teamed, okay? He shouldn't be the release valve to then he's going to make the right basketball play to someone else. This guy needs to be in the scoring position. So putting Vuce here makes him a threat. And you see that LaVine should be, okay, we're just going to isolate this. And this is, as I said, against this Toronto Raptors team who are all lengthy. They have a bunch of great defenders. Hell, you have OG Anunoby kind of cheating over, with Scotty Barnes also cheating over, right? And this is just straight up, all right, we're isolating this possession. And you see Zach here has said, okay, as he's about to go, right, DeMar, you need to start moving over this way, because this is going to make sure that OG Anunoby can't just come up and decide, oh, I'm going to full out double team Zach LaVine here, okay? So this allows Zach LaVine a one-on-one matchup, and LaVine is able to get a step back 2-point shot here and drain it over Scotty Barnes, okay? At the end of the day, right, this is the shot that you want. Like, you want Zach LaVine shooting these sort of shots at the end of a game, right? I don't want the Caruso 3. I don't want the Beverly, 3, etc., etc. I want this play, okay? And let LaVine and DeRozan take advantage one-on-one. So there's that play, obviously, where we're looking at where, okay, LaVine got his one-on-one opportunity. He took advantage, okay? Now, another play here. I think it's a 204 here. Another play here is when DeMar DeRozan is able to get his one-on-one matchup. And DeMar DeRozan, throughout this season, has been one of the best scorers in the NBA in terms of isolations, okay? We look at DeMar DeRozan, and when he isolates, he is just one of the best isolation scorers in the league, okay? And I've been critical of him because he takes a ton of mid-range shots, but if he's going to be taking these mid-range shots and knocking them down, right, and via the isolation, then you're going to want that, right? Because he averages basically 1.2 something points per isolation, which is very, very high, okay? Look, same situation, all right? We're having LaVine and DeRozan in the slots. We're not running the pick and roll. We're not going to have Vucevic come up and set the screen, right? Because if we do that, if Vuce comes up and sets the screen, it's going to allow the Raptors to double team him, okay? And again, I've always said, people think, oh, that's a good thing, right? Or we're able to get, get the 3-on-4. But we've seen many times with this Bulls team that they can't take advantage, especially if Vucevic is the passer and not the scorer, right? Or at the receiving end. So what do? We isolate. And as DeRozan starts to walk up here, you see LaVine starts to walk up here, and that makes sure that Scotty Barnes isn't able to come over and cheat and double off LaVine. But even if you just double off LaVine, that's a mistake, right? But Zach's in position, isolation, DeMar DeRozan's able to get into the lane here, one-on-one against, by the way, a very good defender in OG Anunoby, and get the layup, right? I have been calling for this for a good portion of the season. I never have understood what it was with this Bulls team that if DeRozan's getting double teamed or LaVine's getting double teamed, especially off the screen and roll, why are we deciding, hey, let's run the screen and roll of Vucevic? Now, the other thing that I have said, though, is that if you have to run the screen and roll, right, instead of running the isolation, because in my opinion, if they're gonna double team, if they're gonna double team DeRozan or LaVine off the pick and roll, then I'm gonna dare them to double team him off the isolation, because if you double team off isolation, it is much harder to recover. Okay, but we see here, if the Bulls just for some reason they have to run the pick and roll with this against whoever, right? Then it can't be Vucevic setting the screen, okay? It has to be then one of Caruso or Beverly setting the screen, or you run then the pick and roll with LaVine and DeRozan, because that's going to guarantee you basically a one-on-one matchup, and you're going to have the guys going downhill, right? If you have LaVine come on over, set the screen, and he kind of fades, and DeRozan goes, starts driving downhill, right? That's going to allow a one-on-one matchup. But if you're not going to do that, because you need Zach LaVine to be the spot-up shooter, then you need to put Vucevic in the corner or Vuce baseline, and then one of Caruso or Beverly needs to come up here and set the screen for DeRozan. And if they double team DeRozan, then you can throw it to Caruso, who then can look for Nikola Vucevic on the receiving end to score. Because at the end of the day, Nikola Vucevic is the better option to score compared to Beverly or Caruso, right? So this is the type of stuff that I just don't know why the Bulls have not been able to figure this out until now in the play-in tournament, but they did it. So credit to Billy Donovan. I'm going to give him credit for this, but at the same time, why wasn't this implemented earlier? I think this is something that should have been implemented much earlier for this squad, but for some reason we didn't see it. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And I hope that this continues, especially during the playoffs, because in the playoffs, we're going to see DeRozan living in double team. So if that's the case, then isolate, right? It's a better decision to isolate, especially with these guys' ability to break down their defender one-on-one, than it is to try to run the pick and roll, and they're going to get double team at the half-court line. So, just some ideas for you guys, just to kind of think about and look as games go on with this Bulls team. If they, win against or just even in the Miami game, this is something that I'm looking at here, as like, okay, how is this going to be defended, and then how are the Bulls going to respond and adjust to this situation? I've always said I think the Bulls need to isolate these two guys when the double teams are coming. So they did it. Just it took till game 83 to do it, but they did it. So I'll give Billy Donovan his credit tonight for that. But again, I criticize them for taking this long to figure that out with this team. Now, I want to show you. I want to show you a really good, in my opinion, a good defensive possession by this Bulls team that had this Bulls team kind of really doing a good job of just getting out of transition and getting potentially points off turnovers, right? Let's see here. I bounce. So I'm trying to figure this out here. I think it was this one. No, it's offensive foul. Let's see. Might be the Yakapur. Let's watch this one. I think actually this one. I apologize that the plays aren't in NBA.com yet, but it takes some time. Let's see. I don't know. I can't see the bar down here, so just give me 1 second as I try to figure out where exactly we are. Okay, it's 2:45. Back up a little. All right, we gotta back up a little bit more. Gotta back up. 3-ish. 50. Sorry, give me 1 second. $3:26. Sorry, I just want to make sure I wasn't seeing that incorrectly on the shot clock here. So, as I said, the Chicago Bulls defense throughout the second half was really doing a good job. I think one of the things that Billy Donovan actually did that was kind of huge and was kind of interesting to watch was that he decided we're going to switch the pick and roll when it comes to Fred VanVleet, because Fred VanVleet was killing the Bulls off the pick and roll in the first half, right? So, suddenly, we're just basically saying, yeah, Vucevic, go out on Fred VanVleet. This, to me, is a ballsy move by Billy, okay? I don't know what exactly he thought about this, but it really worked out in the end. Now, Fred VanVleet I've been kind of saying throughout the year that, like, he's had some pretty rough moments. And this was a game where, like, yeah, he made 7 threes, but I don't think he was able to get past Vucevic, really. Like, that I think was kind of like the more interesting part about this whole thing was, like, Fred VanVleet couldn't get past Vuce. And it was just weird to watch. Like, I don't really know how exactly that kind of happened, but it started to happen with this team. So Fred VanVleet is just like, okay, we're gonna bring it back out, and then we're gonna try to post up Pascal Siakam here, which good job at Cruz to the front this. But the big thing, in my opinion, that I thought was a big adjustment was this. Like, if you're gonna be switching this out here, then Jakob Poeltl needs to be guarded by Patrick Williams. Okay, and so we see Patrick Williams then takes Jakob Poeltl, even though that it was, I believe it was Kobe that was initially guarding Fred VanVleet and then was the initial switch, right? And so you see the Bulls switch this, right? And you see that they force Jakob Poeltl into this sort of play here. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Again, post-ups, I don't know why you do it. But we saw that the Bulls were able to really take advantage when, you know, the Raptors were kind of put in the sort of scenario where clock's running down, or they're kind of trying to kind of figure it out, and you throw it to Jakob and tries to make something out of nothing. Bulls are able to take advantage, right? And suddenly the Bulls then, are off and right to the races, but I believe DeRozan misses a shot after this one. Now, next one I want to show you is this. 3:15 here, okay? Sorry, gotta skip through all this. Skip through. Okay. So, that's Zach. He pokes the ball out on his possession, and we see that DeRozan has come out of the game here, right? And we saw this sort of lineup here with P. Will, Caruso, and LaVine. They started to really take over this game here and start to apply the full court pressure and make the Raptors start to, play slower and then also rush to get into their sets here. But I apologize it's taking so long. But let's just watch this play here where Patrick Williams gets a block, I believe. Okay. He's able to, on this play here, you see the Bulls, they're switching everything, right? So, Gary Trent Jr. isn't able to get an opening because the Bulls are willing to switch this right here. As you see that he will start in on Pascal Siakam, right? But Kobe then is now on Pascal Siakam, and the Bulls again, they're really willing to switch this, right? So you see here that P. Will does a fantastic job of making sure that Gary Trent Jr. cannot get the 3-point shot, and then forces him basically baseline into an Alex Caruso, right? This is perfect. This is exactly how the Bulls draw it up. The Bulls, they've done this all season where they force guys to go baseline, especially if they're making sure that they're not giving up a 3-point shot. And then the baseline help is always going to be here for this Bulls, or is supposed to be here for this Bulls team, right? And we see here that Patrick Williams forces then a block on Gary Trent Jr. As I said, Patrick Williams, he's done a really good job this entire throughout the season. So and then in this game specifically, I thought he did a fantastic job. So yeah. Sorry, hold on. What? Really? That's stupid as hell. Okay. If you're in my chat right now, can you give me a thumbs up to let me know that you're still here? And the stream's still running. What's going on, George? Or Georgie, sorry. I appreciate it, Anthony. I appreciate Viper Strike. Okay. Sorry, I'm annoyed. I just got a warning from YouTube, but for playing apparently detected copyrighted audio and video. So I'm gonna guess it's this. It's this game. But I mean, I seriously doubt it's the music again. But who knows? The stream is still up. It just says that it's a warning, so I just want to make sure that the stream is still running. So I'm a little bit upset at that because this is something that, in my opinion, should not be copyrighted at all. And typically the NBA is pretty good about this, but yeah, it is what it is. I just got a warning about it. But stream's still running, and actually now the copyright just went away. Wow. All right. I guess if you complain, I guess things go away. That was quick. Don't know exactly what happened there. Let me check one more thing, guys. I want to check my YouTube studio here to make sure that nothing else is bad. Now it says my bitrate is dead for some reason, and I have dropped some frames, but I don't know why. Do this every stream, that's bogus. Yeah, and here's the thing, like, legally I'm allowed to do this because if you're taking clips from the NBA and then breaking it down and giving your own own personal thoughts and analysis, that's free copyright use. Like, you're legally allowed to do this. So I don't know if YouTube maybe just decided, hey, we're gonna take that away immediately. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, that just happened. Hold on, I'm still checking one more thing, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna do any more clips the rest of the stream because I'm gonna play it carefully. But yeah, I'm not exactly happy about that. That annoys me a little bit. Looks like it got removed. Sorry, again, one more second here. I want to just check this out. Oh yeah, it looks like it was removed. All right, we're looking pretty solid. All right, cool. I don't have to worry about that. I guess complaining works, or maybe they just reviewed it, or maybe the bot kind of figured out like, oh hey, that this isn't a big issue because it shouldn't be an issue. As I've said many times, this is not an issue. I'm legally allowed to do this. So yeah. All right, I gave you a few things to look at. I wanted to break down defense a little bit more, but YouTube's not going to allow me to do that apparently. It said my stream was blocked, so I was kind of making sure that everyone's still in chat here at the very least, and then I hope more people are seeing the stream. But if not, it's okay. I understand. Yeah. All right. I want to talk to you guys about the Bulls against the Miami Heat, and then I want to talk to you guys about the play-in tournament and a couple of other things about that. And then I need to call it a stream because I don't know. Again, I said earlier I'm sweating bullets in here, and me just talking is gonna raise my temperature, and I need to cool down. So let's say about like 20-ish more minutes on the stream, guys. So just quick thoughts again about Miami, just to kind of look at a couple of things. As I've said, against the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, they've had just terrible offenses all season long. They're basically 24th and 25th in offensive rating this entire year. Okay, defensively though, the Bulls have been ranked 5th for the season. The Miami Heat have been ranked 9th. So as I said, for this game for the Toronto Raptors, I'm expecting a very similar type game for the Miami Heat. I said this earlier, but I want to kind of just bring into his own segment here. That it's gonna be a low scoring affair. It's gonna come down to crucial possessions and little things, right? Second chance opportunities, transition points, fast break points in the paint, and obviously points off turnovers. So it's vital for this Bulls team to win those little small battles as they did tonight, right? We know that the Toronto Raptors, no matter what, that they're just gonna out rebound this Bulls team, and they're gonna get more second chance points, right? This has been a constant theme. We knew it was gonna happen. So if this was gonna happen, right, you have to win the other categories, and the Bulls did that. So this Miami Heat team, though, when we look at it, right, they're not exactly the best offensive rebounding team. In fact, where are they? They're down here in terms of offensive rebounding percentage, and then traditional stats in terms of offensive rebounding, they're in 20th. So neither team is an offensive rebounding team, and that's going to hopefully play in the Bulls' favor, where the Bulls can win the other battles more convincingly, obviously in transition, where the Bulls should be faster than this Miami Heat team, and then points in the paint was where the Bulls should also be winning that battle. I think Jimmy Butler is going to have a big game, and the Bulls are going to have to try to figure out how they're going to limit his ability to get to the free throw line. The Bulls somehow won this game, though, by they gave up 36 free throws. So thank you, DeAndre DeRozan, for screaming so loud to make the Raptors miss 18. That's not gonna happen. That's just straight up not gonna happen against Miami. Okay, and just overall looking at free throw percentage, right? Miami Heat, they're the second best team in the league in terms of free throw percentage. The Toronto Raptors, I did not realize that they're 17, so they're not exactly great from the free throw line. So if you give up 36 free throws to the Miami Heat, they're not gonna miss, even if DeAndre DeRozan was gonna be there or not. By the way, she's not gonna be there, so this is something that I am concerned about. So Bulls cannot foul. You cannot foul against this Miami Heat team, and we know Jimmy Butler is going to be going to the free throw line a ton, right? So limit the amount of times Jimmy gets to the free throw line. Make sure the others don't get to the free throw line. That's going to help this Bulls team look pretty solid in that game. Other kind of things. I guess we're not. This isn't updated. Let me go to the game. Okay. All right, let's do this preview. This is it only counts play-in. I hate that the play-in is just like a whole separate category. I seriously hate this sort of stuff, and of course it's not going to show a good thing. Okay, but anyway, 3-point shooting for both teams this season has not been good, right? Obviously, the Bulls, they're dead last in 3-point shooting in terms of obviously makes and attempts per game, and they also just suck. The Miami Heat, they've struggled. As you can see here, the 3-point percentage is down to 34%, which is very low, especially for a team that has 2-point shooters on the team. Now, they do attempt a decent amount still, I believe. Where are they actually? Yeah, they're 10th in attempts, so they can obviously get hot, right? And you don't want that to happen. So make sure that they don't get hot from 3-point range. And as you can see, that their makes aren't exactly that amazing. So just you have to make sure guys like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and many other people just don't light it up from 3-point range. Okay, that's in my opinion the most crucial thing about this Miami Heat team, because I think this Bulls team, they've limited the paint points against Miami every single time, but what the difference is that the Heat start hitting their 3-point shots, right? So just I pray to God that doesn't happen, because that can't happen. So yeah. Now, if you're here and I see some people tuning in here, I'm not gonna say what I think this Bulls. I'm not gonna officially make a prediction about this Bulls team. I don't want to jinx anything. I said this Bulls team is gonna lose to the Toronto Raptors. I full out said that, and I was wrong. So I'm not gonna just come out and say the Bulls are gonna lose to Miami and then try to do the jinx again. But I'm not gonna say they're gonna win, because I think I'm gonna mess up something. So I'm just gonna say that I feel better about this Bulls team against the Miami Heat compared to the Raptors team, and I'm just gonna end it there. The reasons why I'm giving it to you right now, I've explained. You know, offense sucks for Miami, defense is also good for Miami, but you know, they don't have the length and size of the Toronto Raptors, which is the Raptors, you know, calling card, right? And the reason why the Raptors, they won the season series against this Bulls team. So this Bulls team, they've won the season series. They swept the Miami Heat in the regular season. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing at the end of the day, but here we are, right? So it's a playoff type atmosphere. I expect Jimmy Butler to get it going, and watch out for Kyle Lowry. I am scared about Kyle Lowry because for some reason, I don't know what happened, but since the play-in has started, we're seeing guards, older guards, Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, right? They just suddenly started to play well. And Kyle Lowry, if it wasn't for him, that Miami Heat game would have been atrocious. So look out for him, because it's playoff time, right? And I know that he's had a terrible season, but veterans kind of figure out a way to get it done. So it is what it is. So yeah, just be careful of Kyle Lowry, because he's kind of a wild card when it comes to this sort of thing. To start the game, I expect Caruso to guard Jimmy first, and then I think Patrick Beverley's going to be guarding Tyler Hero, and then obviously Patrick Williams is going to come in and guard Jimmy as well. So we'll see how the Bulls kind of match it up. I expect the same starting lineup where you start both Beverley and Caruso. I do think it's overall the right decision, but I do think that Donovan probably should have closed with Patrick Williams, but Beverley did make some big plays down the stretch, so give him credit for that, and also he hit a big three. I just personally would have closed with Patrick Williams down the stretch, because he made some big shots, and then he also was playing really good defensively, and I would have liked his length out there, but that's just me personally. And just saying, I think the backup center position for the Bulls against Miami is going to be Derrick Jones Jr. I don't think Andre Drummond is going to play. I don't have an issue with that. If Derrick Jones Jr. is going to be the guy coming off the bench to replace Vooch, I think that is the right decision, because the Miami Heat, they just don't have size. And I think you can get away with it and outrun this Miami Heat team to the ground. So I think that's just something to look at, and prepare us for the Heat. As I said, I'm very happy the Bulls won this. I know that it's like a lot of people want this Bulls team just to lose and then, you know, try to and pray to the Lords about the lottery and hoping that they can somehow land Victor Wembanyama with a 1.7% chance. I'm just here to tell you, man, I'm not here to tank. I'm here to, you know, work with what we have. And I think getting LaVine, P. Will, Kobe White, if he comes back, right, this experience is useful, especially as this team moves forward, because again, we're not tanking. So I think it's important for this team to get this experience. I'm happy that we're able to get 2 playing games at the end of the day, which I was only expecting 1. So in the end, if we end up losing this Miami Heat game, you know, it is what it is. But if we can make it to the playoffs, I think that's a big thing. I think I'd be overall pretty happy about that, because it means more experience for these guys. And yeah, and hopefully they'll play against the Milwaukee Bucks better. But it does suck that this Bulls team is going to be facing the Milwaukee Bucks if they make it to the playoffs. But we'll take anything at the end of the day. Now, I do see that the Oklahoma City and Pelicans game that has just started up again. It's past the second half, and I do want to go watch that. But I do want to talk about the playing games from yesterday because, my God, man, the playing games from yesterday were crazy to watch. it was something to watch, man. I just want to say this, like, I don't know what, I picked Miami to win against Atlanta Hawks, so I was completely wrong about that. So the 2 picks I had for the Eastern Conference and the play-in games, I've been wrong on both. So that happened. But the Atlanta Hawks just straight up outworked Miami. Like, they just straight up decided, hey, yeah, we're just not gonna let you do anything. They just out-rebounded Miami. Like, Clint Capella had 21 rebounds, and that just, to me, is a disgrace. Bam Adebayo didn't show up, and that was crazy to watch. And I honestly I was looking at Miami, I'm like, I don't see a go-to scorer, and the go-to scorer is usually Jimmy Butler, but he couldn't hit a shot from 2 feet out. So that happened. So I thought the Atlanta Hawks, they played a pretty decent game. There was a moment in the third quarter where the Miami Heat came back a little bit, but again, lack of 3-point shooting, it's hard to come back unless you're dominating other areas. And the Miami Heat were not dominating other areas in that game, right? The Heat depend on their 3-point shooting, and with the lack of free throws attempts that they were getting, and the lack of paint points that they were getting, they were not coming back in that game unless they were starting to hit some 3-point shots, which they started to do, but it wasn't enough, right? So it just kind of shows you, again, lack of offense from Miami. I was really shocked to see Atlanta take that, but they just stole that game in Miami, and so good job on them to do such a thing. So I'm looking forward to that Boston and Atlanta Hawks series. I think Boston is unfortunately gonna play very well and almost sweep them, if not sweep them. So yeah, not exactly great for Atlanta, but obviously you'd much rather face the Boston Celtics compared to the Milwaukee Bucks. So there's that going for them. Then that Timberwolves and what was it? That Timberwolves and Lakers game, man. My oh my. All I'm just gonna say is this. I feel bad for Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns has missed a lot of time this season, right? And he's come back, and then he's having a good game. Anthony Edwards was nowhere to be found, and I do think that he's dealing with something. But he has to be better because a lot of people consider Anthony Edwards the franchise for the Timberwolves, right? And not really showing up in that game didn't look too good. But for the Timberwolves, I've said this since last season. Okay, like, this isn't something that I've just suddenly started just saying. I've said this for a long time. Chris Finch is a terrible coach. The Minnesota Timberwolves did not score in the last 6 minutes and I believe 11 seconds of the fourth quarter until Mike Conley hit those 3 free throws that Anthony Davis gifted to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, there were multiple possessions in that fourth quarter where the Minnesota Timberwolves, they called a timeout, they drew up a play. Out of the timeout, they got nowhere with the play, shot clock violation, turnover. That to me shows a definition of a terrible coach. A coach that does not know how to draw up any sort of plays, does not understand the time and situation of the game, and clearly does not know what to do in crunch time. Chris Finch is an awful coach. I hated how he was hired. I hated every sort of process that the Minnesota Timberwolves did to hire him. And since he's gotten in Minnesota, I thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves should have won that Grizzlies series last year in the playoffs because they had many chances to win games at home when they were up by 20 points but blew it. And then that playing game was just another showing of Chris Finch being a terrible coach. I do think that, Anthony Edwards sucked, and, that's hard. But you got to adjust as a coach. And I thought that there were more adjustments to be made in that game where Mike Conley's hitting shots, Kyle Anderson's playing well. I don't know where you didn't have Rudy Gobert and, Jay McDaniels and Naz Reid. Like, those are 3 key players for Minnesota. But you had a lead against the LA Lakers for most of that game, a double-digit lead that you decided to blow. And I'm aware that some calls went against Minnesota, but in the end, you had to win that game. You were winning that game with no Gobert, no McDaniels, no no Nas Reed, and Anthony Edwards can't do crap, and you were winning that game. You should win that game. And I don't know what happened. It just straight up Chris Finch decided I'm not going to coach. Just terrible stuff. But this game for the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Pelicans, I actually have Oklahoma City Thunder winning this game. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm actually going to end stream here so that you guys and myself can go watch that game. And all I'm going to say is that the playing game has been great so far. Obviously, the Bulls winning it helps my mood. But even if the Bulls lost this game, I think the play-in tournament has been great. It's been some good basketball already. And I have overall been critical of the play-in tournament, but so far it's given some good television. So props to the NBA for doing this so far. Hope the Bulls can go out into Miami and win that one in Miami on Friday. And let's just enjoy basketball. Because in my opinion, the playoffs are going to be phenomenal this season. Now, I've been looking forward to the playoffs for a long time now, and this is just the start of it all. So let's go watch the Oklahoma City Thunder and Pelicans game. If you have not already on the stream, I would appreciate if you hit that like button on the stream. Helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel and like Chicago Bulls content, hit that subscribe button. Flight Sports does highlight reactions all the time. You're pausing and breaking down once YouTube figures out you're analyzing. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that YouTube kind of figured out my analyzing stuff. I was at the edge of my seat the whole game, stressing out. It was a stressful game. Yeah, I will say I was stressed about this Bulls game. Miami got clapped. Yeah, it did. Thanks for the stream. Peace, bro. Good to see MC Season. Thank you for the support, MC. Appreciate you a lot. I appreciate all you guys that have subscribed recently on this channel. And the season's not over. I'll be trying to figure out a post game stream for my for the Bulls versus Heat game. I can't guarantee it, but I'm gonna try my best to figure out how I'm gonna be able to do it. So expect a post game stream on Friday after that Bulls and Heat game, which maybe it might not be the end of the season during that post game stream. So who knows? We'll see how far this Bulls team can go. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys a lot for hanging out with me tonight. I'm so sorry it is hot in here, but I pushed through it tonight for you guys. So I hope the temperature cools down in here. I'm gonna go watch the Thunder versus Pelicans. All right, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.